You know, it's funny you mentioned that. I haven't, and I was just thinking today that I'm going to take it home and play with it this weekend and try to take pictures or something, because the quality is really great.
Yeah, it's remarkable quality. It's really flexible and has so many little applications that it's sort of become I wouldn't say industry standard, but the foot camera is quite popular.
Yeah, and that's neat. Okay, I'm rolling and good to go.
Welcome, I'm Scott Drake, and you're watching the Legal Broadcast Network. My guest is Tax Law Channel host Robert Wood, a frequent commentator here on the network. He is partner at Wood Porter in San Francisco. He writes in the Los Angeles Daily Journal on a topic that we've discussed before, but we're going to talk about again regarding frivolous tax claims and how they'll cost you. As a matter of fact, he says many frivolous arguments start with the Constitution, such as the claim that federal taxes constitute an unconstitutional taking of property with due process. Rob, welcome back.
Thanks, Scott. Nice to be here.
So the frivolous tax claims, again, we've talked about that before. I guess, as you cited in the article, the most common thing is that taxes are unconstitutional, and they don't look on that very positively as an argument today.
No, they don't, and I think you know, any time of year this is a topical thing to discuss, but certainly around tax time, it's even more topical when people have recently filed tax returns and they're, you know, watching the mail either for a tax bill or for, you know, even nicer, a tax refund. It gets discussed. It's a topic about which emotions run surprisingly high. I mean, I think we live right now in a country where there are these Tea Party meetings around the country, and there's a lot of discussion about tax rates going up, about you know, the Bush tax cuts being rolled back, of capital gains rates going up. There's a lot of discussion, and at the state and local level as well, about what taxes they're going to add on to us. You know, what's happening to property tax revenues, and you have all sorts of new taxes being proposed. So I think it's good to pause and think, well, wait a minute, you know, if you are going to file something, be careful what you say, because some things are not considered kind of bona fide arguments.
I guess with the, as you say, the possibility of new taxes becoming a reality, I guess it's possible when making a claim in some way that you can inadvertently do something that they consider frivolous, and they have a whole litany of penalties that they can enforce.
Yeah, no, you're right, and I think the if you sort of put to the side, which I'll try to do, the overtly flaky arguments that the kind of some tax protester groups urge, like you know, and there's certainly nothing flaky about thinking about fundamentals like the Constitution. I'm a big fan of watching Law and Order on TV, and just about every episode has something about Miranda rights or right to counsel or something. Sometimes about you know, what's cruel and unusual punishment that violates the Eighth Amendment. I mean, there's you know, there's a lot of stuff that we all need to remember, and but in the tax world, saying, at least on the federal tax, I can say saying anything about the Constitution is likely going to be frivolous. And I want to stress that on the state or local level, it may be not frivolous. That is, it may be that, I mean, in California, I think California was the first state back in 1977 or 8, I think it was. So even before I got out of law school, believe it or not, California passed Prop 13, which was an amendment to the California Constitution. And so as a result, constitutional arguments in California tax cases do come up, like you know, you can't pass a new tax without a certain supermajority of the vote or something, without violating the state constitution. But at the federal level, I got to say that the constitutional arguments have pretty much all been made and all been lost.
Mhm. So there doesn't sound like there's been any instance where somebody has gained any traction with one of these arguments. One that's kind of made the news that we'll close on here is recently Wesley Snipes, who had foreign income, and he was arguing against being taxed on that. He got a criminal conviction which he is appealing, and that's a good example of something that on the surface doesn't necessarily sound frivolous, but it actually can be.
Yeah, no, that's a great example, Scott, and you're right, and by and large, and I don't know the lawyers who were defending him. I mean, I do know that the government. Interesting, although Wesley Snipes was convicted, he was only convicted of, as I recall, of 3 misdemeanor counts, not the more serious felony counts. So I'm not quite sure what that means in terms of his, his jail time and all that. But I do know that the government was, I don't know if they said this or just all the observers noted, that the government really kind of lost out. The government got a conviction, but not a very good one. And so Wesley Snipes' lawyers, I think, did a good job. He was clearly promoted by people, and obviously a famous actor like that has lots of handlers, but he had people who were, I guess to put it, in pejoratively, kind of selling him a bill of goods or selling his managers a bill of goods. Because I think no credible tax lawyer would look at those arguments, those of only foreign income is taxable, not my millions of U.S. income from films. It was flaky, but it sort of had the veneer of respectability enough that fancy, knowledgeable people could make mistakes. So, I mean, don't hesitate. It's funny with doctors, people go and get second opinions all the time. In the medical world, and with lawyers or tax lawyers, I think they relatively infrequently do that. And my thought is one way to avoid some of these liabilities might be to do that. If your accountant or your tax lawyer gives you advice that sounds too good to be true, take it to somebody else and say, to some other qualified person, what do you think? Do you think this is frivolous or not?
Well, if you would like to add tax law expert Robert Wood to your entourage and prevent becoming an example like Wesley Snipes, you can find him at woodporter.com. He is also host of the Tax Law channel here on the Legal Broadcast Network. Rob, good stuff. Thanks for talking with us.
Thanks, and I'm willing to be part of your entourage, Scott, anytime.
You can be the first person in that. This is Scott Drake, and you're watching the Legal Broadcast Network. I can see like you as an entourage guy.
Oh, yeah.
Just to head off.